Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi. So this past week, my weigh-in was actually pretty good. Not exciting, but good because as I said, on November 21st, which was a Friday, I believe, or no, Thursday. Was a Thursday weigh-in. I weighed 180.8, and then I only had a 5-2 week last week because it was Thanksgiving and we went camping. So my weigh-in was on Thanksgiving Day on Thursday after my Monday, Wednesday fasting days. I weighed in at 180.8. So it was a net loss of 0, but a net gain of 0, and I will take it. And I also averaged all of my weigh-ins for November, and I was at 181 for my average. So what that means is my average stayed the same from October, which isn't great, but it's, again, I will take staying steady right now because it is the holidays and all of that. So also this next week, for my next week's weigh-in, I definitely expect there to be a gain because I had not only another 5-2 week I'm in because I'm going to California to help my sister out. She just had a baby. But also because it was Thanksgiving, we were camping. So I did have 4 eating days in a row, and they were very high calorie days if I were to count calories, which I don't, and I'm glad that I don't because it would probably be horrifying. Anyways, but that's the situation right now, and so next week will be probably up on the scale as well. So today's video, I just thought it would be kind of interesting and fun to look at the different protocols of fasting and how many hours it kind of adds up to in a week's time. So it's very simple math. I hope I don't get anything wrong because it'd be kind of embarrassing. But anyway, I'm just multiplying the daily averages by the number of days to get the total number of fasting hours that you would get from, the different types of typical protocols that people do. So for me, since I do 4-3 for my alternate day fasting, I fast Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then Saturdays, Sundays, Tuesday, Thursday are my eating days. I average 38 hours on my fasting days. It's always a little bit different, but that's kind of like my average for my 3 fasting days. And then between Saturday and Sunday, I do fast in the nighttime while I'm sleeping, so I add that in as well. So that's about 12 hours when I'm sleeping between Saturday and Sunday. And then I have those 3 38-hour fasts. Now, obviously, people who do alternate day fasting fast different lengths. The typical lengths people will fast are usually between 36 and 42 hours. But this is just my experience. So I average 38 hours. So if you take 38 hours times 3, my 3 fasts, so that equals 114, I believe. Yes. And then you add the 12 hours between Saturday and Sunday, and you get 126 hours a week. So, and that is without the 500 calorie option for, doing a down day approach. So if you did do that, it really wouldn't change the hours of fasting all that much because usually people, typically eat that 500 calorie meal within a half an hour. So, you'd take off maybe like an hour and a half off of the total from that. And some people don't even do the 500 calorie meal every day, just some days, but whatever, you see what I'm saying. So that's 126 hours that I average every week fasting out of a total of 168 hours a week. So, and then you take, let's say you do a 16-8 protocol. That's 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating. So what that equals is 112 hours a week. So that's 16 hours times 7 days a week. So that's 112 hours. So that's not bad. You compare that to, say, if you are eating 16 hours a day and only fasting 8 hours a day, then, that's 8 times 7, which is 56 hours a week, which is not really a lot out of 168 hours. So that makes a big difference. If you were to go from eating 16 hours a day to 8 hours a day, like that can make a big difference for a lot of people. Now let's go to a more rigorous protocol, which is a 4-hour eating window every day. So then you're gonna have 20 hours of fasting every day times 7, so that's 140 hours. So you see that protocol is more hours than what I fast every week doing alternate day fasting. And then you take probably the most rigid of all the protocols, which is a 23-in-1, so like OMAD, but like one meal. Basically you're sitting down to a meal and that's it. People do OMAD very differently. Some people approach it more as like a 4-course meal or something spread out over even like up to 5 hours, where they're still having only one meal, but maybe having like more of a snack or an appetizer leading up to that, and then maybe an hour after dinner having a dessert, okay? So, but then there are a lot of people who prefer to do just their one meal within like an hour, sitting down and then being done. So those people who are fasting 23 hours a day are fasting, 23 times 7 is 161 hours out of 168. So you're only eating 7 hours out of the whole week. So you can see that there's quite a difference. And what's interesting is if you took my protocol and my average of 126 hours a week and you divided that by 7, that would be the equivalent of an 18-6. So eating for 6 hours a day. So like say from 10 to 4 or 12 to 6 or 2 to 8 or whatever. That is the same number of hours fasting as what I do. So what's very interesting to me about that is before I started alternate day fasting, that's pretty much what I was doing. And I was kind of alternating between sometimes OMAD, sometimes 2 meals a day. And I would say that was about my average, was about a 6-hour eating window. But weight loss wise, it was not happening for me. And I just could not figure out a schedule that worked well for me. And then when I started alternate day fasting, it just not only clicked as far as lifestyle and feeling like a very sustainable way of life for me, but also the weight loss started to happen. And so it's really interesting to note that, because there is definitely something different about how the length of the fast versus total number of hours. We know that when you go longer in your fasting, your insulin continues to drop lower. Also for me, there was a lot of appetite correction that happened with alternate day fasting that I did not get with a daily window. And so everyone's just really different in that and what they prefer and how their body reacts. And so it's just interesting to note. Now, the other thing that I found interesting was this. So as I've been saying, I do a 4-3 approach. So I do not do a true alternate day fast, which would be fast one day, eat the next day, fast one day, eat the next day, and then it just continues on and on and on. So if you were to fast like me, like 38 hours, doing a true alternate daily fasting schedule, the way that you would have to calculate this is you'd have to do 38 hours times 3 days one week and 38 hours times 4 days the next week, and then average the two. And the reason why is because if you were to do a true alternate day fast, 1 week you'll have 3 days of fasting and the next week you'll have 4 days, just because of the way that schedule works out. So for instance, 1 week you would be fasting Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Then the next week you would be fasting Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So to calculate those hours, you take 38, and this is just my amount of hours, you know, they vary. 38 times 3, which is 114. And then you add that to 38 times 4, which is 152. And then you take those, add them up, divide it by 2 to get the average. And that equals 133 hours per week. So that's only an average of 7 hours more per week. And the reason why is because with the 4-3 schedule, you have that fast in between the Saturday and the Sunday as well. You're not always rolling into a longer fast. And some people actually, when they do 4-3, do OMAD on their second eating day in a row. Like, so for me on Sundays, it would be like doing, you know, maybe like a 20-hour fast between Saturday and Sunday, which I do not do, but a lot of people do that. So that would be even more and would probably bring up the average fasting hours to even more than the true alternate day fast. So it really just depends on how you do it. But I thought that that was interesting to note because some people believe and think that, you know, a true alternate day fast gives you more fasting hours a week, but that's not always the case. And also it's just not really that big of a difference when you look at it. So I just wanted to kind of point that out, I guess, to help you think through it and see that it's not all just about the numbers and the amount of fasting, but it has a lot to do with what's sustainable for you, how your body reacts to a certain protocol, how it feels to you. You want to find something that fits into your life and is just very sustainable, that you don't feel like you have to force yourself into all the time. I think that's really important. So I hope you found that interesting and helpful. And I hope you're having a great holiday season, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye.